Hello and good morning, good day, good evening, depending where you're at in the world. In the internet, we're here broadcasting live to talk about facilitating cross-chain adoption with DeFi. We have so much going on, mobile DeFi. We have a hackathon happening right now, and we're so blessed to have Darren join us today to share us a little bit about Symmetric. Did I say that correctly, Darren?
Symmetric. As in symmetrical.
Symmetrical, yes. It's a Monday. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Brandy Camacho. I'm with Developer Relations. Darren, you want to share a little bit about yourself, give an intro to the community?
Yeah, no, happy to. So I'm Darren. You'll probably know me online as The New Autonomy. That's my GitHub handle, Discord handle. I'm part of the Symmetric operations team, which is kind of a core developer, core management team as part of the Symmetric community. I'm also an employee at Cent Finance, which is kind of a sister partner to Symmetric. So I kind of straddle those two organizations. My background is software development. So I've been a software developer for about 25 years. And it's scary when I say that. So it's a long time. 25 years as a software developer. I'm a certified ethical hacker, network defense architect. So worked on various banking systems, media systems, government agency systems. That's my background.
Amazing. 25 years. That's a lot. That sounds like you have a lot of work in backend services as well for infrastructure.
Yeah, very much so. So I started out working with Microsoft and Microsoft partners, so working on operating systems, so systems engineering. A lot of systems in banking and finance, working on film distribution systems, which I absolutely love doing for companies like Disney. So some really interesting fun stories related to that, which I won't go into here, but banking and finance systems, lots of infrastructure and all kinds of DevOps, so infrastructure projects, security systems. So.
Well, it's important because having that vast background relates definitely to our title for the Streamcast, which is about facilitating and lowering the barriers to entry with mobile DeFi. And so you got to see the importance of the mobile revolution, getting smartphones, mini computers in everybody's pocket, connected to technology that allows people to globally connect. It's huge. This allows everybody to leapfrog and build communities that they just didn't have before. So what is Symmetric and how is it facilitating this adoption and reducing the barriers to entry to mobile DeFi?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Symmetric is an automated market maker and a decentralized exchange. And it actually came out of a requirement we had at Cent Finance originally. So Symmetric we never intended to create Symmetric at the very beginning. We were focused on the wallet and the user interface. So Cent Finance has a mobile wallet focused on DeFi. We wanted to build a wallet that we could give to people coming into this space. So not the die-hard crypto experts, but the people coming into this space. So people who need a lot of hand-holding, a lot of support. So that's where we started. We would profile our community a lot and we'd engage a lot with the community to see what they wanted. And one thing that they really wanted was a way to actually make their assets earn. It's like, okay, great. I've got a mobile wallet. We have on-ramp, off-ramp. We can do all the kind of things you would expect from a wallet, but I want my assets to make me money. So we started to look at what were the options, what's already out there. Now, there weren't too many layer 2 networks. There weren't too many layer 1 networks when we started out on this project. But we did have a look at what exchanges were out there. We had Uniswap, we had Balancer, SushiSwap was just coming out. And what we decided we really wanted was something with the flexibility and performance of Balancer, but without the costs. Because again, if we're looking at people coming into this space, if you start to say, okay, you want to do a trade, it's going to cost you $10, $50, $100, that's just not going to fly. And we weren't even going to try and sell that to our customers. So what we wanted to do is see if we could create something which offers that kind of flexible, rich experience you would get from platforms like Balancer, but on networks which are more acceptable to consumers, people coming into this space, networks like Celo. We actually decided to focus on XDAI and Celo at the very beginning because these were the two networks we felt offered the performance and the flexibility. Celo kind of outshone for us in the area of mobile because mobile first, we had a mobile wallet. And so it kind of really fit well with us. But XDAI also works very well. So they kind of remain our two primary networks at the moment.
That's amazing. Yeah, I do love the ability to focus on folks for the adoption side in regards to affordability, right? Because these platforms are getting more expensive. We've noticed the trend recently. The costs are getting almost dangerous at times for accessibility. And that's the nice part about your solution between taking advantage of Celo and XDAI. Is Symmetric governed at all? Does it have a DAO?
It is. It's DAO governed. And that's really important for a product like Symmetric. Because again, going back to when we created Symmetric, what we actually did prior to Symmetric was to see if we could get some of these different communities to actually migrate to Celo, to XDAI. It's like, we love the experience you've got on Ethereum, but can you please bring it to some of these other networks? Because that makes it cost effective for us. And there was a lot of buy-in from the communities. They wanted to do that, but it's very difficult for community to actually get the core team in some of these projects to make that transition. If they're focused on Ethereum, it's very difficult, even if their own users want to go onto a network like Celo or XDAI, to get them to make that move. So this was a real challenge for us. So when we decided to launch Symmetric, we said at the very beginning, we don't want to go down that same route and get into those same kind of problems. We'll make it community owned, we'll open source, we'll make everything all about the community. And if a community tells us to go on a particular network or to implement a feature or go in a direction, then we will. So we don't just idly listen, we actually give them the reins and say, you tell us where we should be going.
Very nice. So is there a community link that we can share with folks about how to participate?
Yeah, no, of course. I've got a presentation later. I will give a few links in there. So we're on Discord, we're on Telegram, of course, GitHub. That's my life in GitHub. But yeah, we've got some great links and we have a very active community. So always love people coming in and contributing.
Well, let's don't hold back. Let's do a presentation and show a little bit about what you're solving here with Symmetric and provide some insights. I'm going to have some more questions, so I'm looking forward to the presentation. And afterwards, I'm going to circle back to our hackathon. So I'll have some questions for you in regards to tips and tricks for those developers out there looking to build in this space. With that said, kick it off. Let's see a demo.
Okay. So what I'll actually do, I think, is I've got a short slideshow to just give a bit of an introduction. I will go through this very quickly because I know people don't like to sit through PowerPoint presentations. I certainly don't. So I'll give a short presentation, then I'll give a demonstration. So hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll keep this as brief as possible. Actually, that's going to be the wrong screen there. Let me just move these around. What I will actually do is share my other screen, if that's okay.
Perfect. While you're doing that, can you share a little bit about the backstory with Cent and the relationship?
Yeah, no, of course. Can you see my screen okay? See the presentation?
Yeah. Wonderful.
Okay, well, this does actually cover that question as well. So this is a presentation on Cent and Symmetric and the relationship. So I'll start with the mission for Cent. So the team itself, the core operations team, has a little bit of background which goes back further than Symmetric. So back in Q1 of 2017, we actually formed a research and development company. We took in about £5 million in investment from a US oil and gas firm. And their interest was really looking at how can you apply blockchain in industrial settings. So we had this funding and we created a few interesting projects, which is all open source. This is separate to Symmetric and Cent Finance. But it was an oil and gas company and they're very focused on sort of green tech, which you might seem a bit strange for an oil and gas company, but there's this kind of transition that's happening. So that's where the original core team came together. Q3 2017, we actually made a bit of a transition. Although we were funded primarily to look at industrial systems, we were given some leeway to look at other applications of blockchain. So we wrote a couple of white papers, and we wrote the proofs to the Bitcoin network back in Q3 2017, and we published a test network. So it's an alpha network and a beta network. And so we're building quite a lot of experience between this team, and we were quite close team. We were developing on a few interesting code bases. We got to late 2019 and early 2020, the pandemic hit. Research took a bit more of a back seat, let's say, and we decided we wanted to actually really run with a lot of the code bases we developed, a lot of the ideas we developed about DeFi. So we decided to form Cent Finance. So Cent Finance was a new company. It was a startup in Q3 2020, focused entirely on DeFi. So we had this wealth of prior papers, prior research. We would bring this in, we'll just focus on DeFi. That really blossomed in 2021, where we were able to launch the DAO. We were able to launch the exchange itself on XDAI and Celo. We started to grow the community, and we launched the Bounty program, which I'll come on to a little bit later. The future is we want to grow the platform, we want to grow the community, we want to build more partnerships, we want to engage with the community as much as possible, particularly the developer community. We are very, very developer focused, so we want to try and get the developer community involved as much as possible. So our actual mission statement is, if you look at DeFi as it stood in the year at the start of this year, which is when this project started. So DeFi is generally pretty expensive, particularly when you're on the Ethereum main network. You're doing transactions which cost 10 or hundreds of dollars at a time. It kind of makes it out of reach for a large number of users. It can be quite complicated to get into DeFi, and it can be time consuming as well to learn the skills, to learn how to navigate this whole space. And it's confusing. So we counted there was 504 exchanges at the time of creating this presentation, 3,000 plus coins. So where do you start as a person coming into this space? So as I mentioned earlier, we decided to start with the user interface to try and get the tools into the hands of the people coming into this space. And what better way than a mobile wallet? Everybody's got mobile phones, and this is really the best way to reach these people. So we created our mobile wallet. So what are some of the features of our mobile wallet? Well, it's simple to set up, simple to use. It's a 60-second onboarding process. You can just register using an email address, connect to any DEX using Wallet Connect. It's low cost because we focus on low cost networks and low cost on-ramp and off-ramp services. It's very easy to use. It runs on the web, iOS, Android, so all the places you would need to be able to use a mobile wallet. And it's very secure. My own background is working in secure systems, so this is something very important to me. So we've made sure it's very secure for securing your assets. Now, Symmetric itself. So Symmetric is pretty comprehensive automated market maker and decentralized exchange. There's public, private, and smart pools. Public pools are investment pools that anybody can load liquidity in and start to earn from. Private is if it's a controlled set of liquidity providers, let's say a fund. And smart pools is where you want to create more complex business logic on a pool. So that's more for the advanced users. We're working on the integration of optics to make it easy for people to move between networks, integration of on-ramp and off-ramp directly into Symmetric itself, and integration of a web wallet. So if you've got your wallet, and you've got your optics, you've got on-ramp and off-ramp, it's pretty much a one-stop shop for users. That's where we're trying to get to. For the community, we make sure it's DAO governed. We have a rich bounty program to encourage developers to come in and help to drive the innovation, and a tokenomics that rewards all contributors. And that's really important because at the very beginning, when we were looking at tokenomics in these kind of systems typically reward liquidity providers, and understandably so, you want to attract liquidity, but they rarely actually value developers, creatives, marketeers. So we want to make sure tokenomics really rewards all contributors. And we want to have an ambitious future. So we want to really bring people in to know that there's a roadmap and there's a lot happening in the future. So how to get involved? Okay, step one, if you're a developer, jump into GitHub. So github.com/centfinance is where you'll find our repositories. All of our projects are open source. And when I say open source, I mean they're fully open source. So a frustration I often have is a lot of projects in this industry publish repositories, but leave key bits out, which can make it very difficult for somebody to come in and actually build and deploy this stuff. So we make sure everything's open source. So you should be able to clone, build, run, experiment. I encourage you to run these projects locally so you can really understand how they work. Jump into our Discord channel. There's a Discord link there. Jump in, ask questions. The community is very friendly, which again, I love about this community. They're actually a very friendly group in general. Reach out to the core team. And if you have a new idea, don't be afraid to at least raise in Discord how you might make this as a bountyable idea, because bounties can be anything. So we want to try and encourage you to come in and raise your innovative ideas as bounties. Read the documentation. And on our documentation, we list bounties. So we have a long list of bounties, which are open to anybody to just come and pick up. And we have links on the instruction on our documentation to other resources. So, Medium posts, go onto Telegram. There's various places that you can find us. View our Kanban board. So we have 2 weekly sprints. The sprint runs from today. So 2 weeks, but we make sure everything's public, including the Kanban board, so you can see what the core team's working on. And if you search for tasks for the keyword bounty, you'll find which of those tasks you can pick up, including off the backlog, which is under the to-do column. If you see a bountyable task, just fork that repository, make the change, create a pull request, and make sure that when you create your pull request, you put your wallet address where you want to receive the tokens, and if you want it on the Ethereum main network or on Celo. Beyond that, you can join the DAO. So the DAO is open to anyone to join. It's 1 SIM token for 1 voting share. So if you want to have 10 votes, which is typically what we recommend for people, because we're trying to make it so that there's fair representation. So nobody has disproportionate large amounts of voting shares. So 10 SIM gives you 10 voting shares. And that allows you to come in, sponsor proposals. You can raise new proposals and influence the direction of Symmetric. And beyond that, use Symmetric itself. We pay some very, very healthy APRs. So I use it as well as a user. I'm a customer of our own product. So jump in there, have a look at the pools and start earning. Now, there's just one more slide I'll include here. This one slide really just captures what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create an ecosystem. I mean, so Celo is all about an ecosystem. We're kind of following that kind of same model as well. So we have the Cent wallet, we have Symmetric, but we're all about collaboration and partnership. So if we can help you to build on Symmetric or to build something for the wallet, we'll do that. So we want to try and encourage you to get involved in different ways. Now, what I will do, that's the presentation. I will give a very quick demo. Move this over. Can you see this okay?
Perfect. I can see your screen. Yes, you're sharing your entire screen.
There we
go.
Perfect. Okay, so there's 2 parts to Symmetric. So there's 2 sides. There's the pool management platform, which is Pools UI in GitHub, and there's the exchange, which is symmetric.exchange. So I'll take you through the pools management platform to begin. So this is where you would load liquidity and start earning. There's a card view, there's a table view. I tend to prefer the table view, but card view is also very useful. What you're seeing here is pre-made pools. So you can open any pool if you want to add liquidity to it. Click into the pool. I would suggest for new users that this is the way you should go rather than trying to create new pools. But you should be able to just open the pool up. Putting a little bit slowly at the moment. It's the curse of live demos.
Gotta love those RPC connections.
Yeah, could well be. They've been a bit troublesome.
Well,
I
while
think
we're
it's running
waiting,
okay. I think that's running okay. I'll just F5 it just to make sure. In the
so
meantime,
while we're waiting for that, can you demonstrate the
there we
mobile
go.
responsiveness of this?
So I will just actually it's loaded now. So I will show you actually the mobile experience as well. But so the pool's opened. You get a chart history of liquidity, of trade volume, of fees. You can see the APRs which have been given. This is the APRs for from the actual fees from people doing swaps on here. So you can see here the two tokens, CUO, CUSD. You see a complete history of all the swaps if you wanted to drill through it. There's 125 liquidity providers in this pool. You get more advanced information in this. And to add liquidity, you simply add liquidity, click the add liquidity button. You can add single or multi-asset. The thing to keep in mind is if you add single asset, you will impact the weighting on this pool. So there's a slight cost associated to that. If you can add multi-asset, so if I was to just add, let's say, 10 coins of this, it'll also automatically work out what the equivalent of CUSD would be. There's no price impact. But for a lot of people, you can just add a single asset. If I open the dashboard again, this is any pools I've got on this account. So you can see I've got one pool. And if you want to see all the reward pools, you can click on reward pools. And at the top, there's a couple of things here to some people find useful. We're showing what the Celo, so what the SIM token price is on the two networks we target. So we're on Celo, we're on XDAI. So this is quite useful if you want to look for arbitrage opportunities between these two networks. And you can see the overall liquidity that we have on each of these networks. And you can just click on the create pool if you just want to create a new pool. For creating a swap, this will be familiar for anyone who's used any kind of these decentralized exchanges. Choose the token that you want to go from into. We have smart order routing. So smart order routing is where the logic looks at the different pools that you can go from your source to your destination. So you can go through multiple different pools. As you go through each different pool, you're going to have a price impact. So what it tries to do is to try and work out what is the optimal route to go from your source to your destination based off the amount you're actually looking to swap. So if you go 100, to say, okay, we're going to put 0.26, 87.5% of the share will go through here, 12.5 through this pool, and you can see what the fees are going to come to, and so what the overall fee is going to be for doing this swap. I don't have too much on here. I'll try and do a swap on this. Let's see if it'll let me. Maybe it should sell through, and then we'll get a little notification on the bottom right. So yeah, that swap went through okay. It's generally very responsive. It's running a bit slower today on the pools platform, but generally it's pretty useful, particularly on the exchange, because we want to, of course, make sure the exchange is quick. And it works very well at mobile sizes, at tablet sizes. So it is the style sheets work at different screen sizes. Again, for this as well, it should flex right the way down, and the same for the table view. If I can scroll this down. So that's generally the demo of this. It's up and running. It's got a fair amount of, quite a few pools on here already. We've got links to the documentation, links to the exchange, to the different networks. And the place to go for the docs is for bounties. Click into develop and bounties. You should see the bounty list in here. So for instance, the top one is for each bounty, we have a link to the GitHub task, the amount of bounties for. And so you should be able to click in here. And I think that's probably the main thing you'll need to know. To get to the Kanban, it's under projects. I mean, you're probably familiar with this as your developers. Under projects, Symmetric. This is where you'll find our backlog. Is that sufficient? Or
Test one, test
yes,
two.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, wonderful. For some reason, the interface was acting a little wonky on my end. I was unable to select mute or unmute. Yes, that's fabulous demonstration of the product. Yep. What about the mobile side? I want to see a show off on the mobile end. What do we have for mobile?
So for mobile, what you'll need is you'll either use Wallet Connect on here. So if I disconnect here, there's two ways to connect. So the wallet experience, of course, is we have the Celo extension wallet. We do want to, we're working on adding Valora at the moment because we feel it's very important to have Valora on here. But at the moment, we would recommend use Wallet Connect. We know Wallet Connect's well tested on here. So if you've got a mobile wallet, I can't do a proper demonstration, but we've got, if you open your Cent wallet or Minerva wallet or any wallet which supports Wallet Connect, you should be able to just connect with Wallet Connect and get a good experience there. There isn't a specific mobile interface. We've just been testing this on mobile devices using the Cent and Minerva wallets and other wallets. But if you obviously, if anybody in the community wants to work on a mobile specific experience or work on integration into the Cent wallet or Minerva or other wallets, definitely get in touch.
Wonderful. I love that you're community centric. You're basically open the doors to anybody that wants to participate in the global community. Just like you just made mention, if you're a developer, you're interested in helping out, support a mobile first experience, you're open to it. So what I would love to hear is a little bit of an insight. What were some of the lessons learned? So we have a lot of folks in a hackathon. They're at the tail end of this thing. They're looking at wrapping up their project. And sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming. So what's your advice for the folks that are currently in the process of building a project? They don't know if they're going to get funding. They don't know what the roadmap looks like in the future, but they do know that they want to submit a project and they want to get visibility. What's your advice for them?
So in the first instance, I would say don't worry too much about the funding. Obviously, we all want funding. Funding's important, but it's not the only metric of success. So an important metric I always look at is adoption. For me, that's even more important than funding. So if you can actually if you can put out an MVP and you can start to show some adoption, early adoption, and if you can develop a loyal small community, because that was really important for Symmetric, and that is more important than the funding. You really want to start off at grassroots. So we've avoided doing any kind of marketing at this point, because marketing can bring in the wrong kind of people and bring in too many people too quickly. We've always taken this approach of just they're the best people. People stay with you for the long period, and they're the ones who will give you the best feedback. And so you've got to iterate. And if you can, try and find a community, whether it's a community like Symmetric or there are other communities out there, but find a community where people are actually willing to support you. Because and so we're always looking for the best projects we can actually partner with and support. And that could be through providing some funding, or it could be for introductions.
Awesome. So we have a question from Boone. How are Cent and Symmetric related?
So, so they're completely unrelated, I would say. The only of Cent Finance are involved in operations of Symmetric. So let me need.
Yeah.
And we decided that we did not, as a company, want to build an exchange. Or at least we don't want to support an exchange. We don't want to become an exchange company. Because we felt that it's really important that an exchange is owned. One up the DAO and said, okay, but it's going to take.
Unfortunately, I think we're having some internet disruptions here. We're not getting the full story in regards to the response. Darren, are you still with us?
I am on a wired network.
Gotta love our internet service providers giving us dependability, even though we're connected wired or wirelessly.
Yeah, I'm on a wired connection. Hopefully this is clearer. So there's no relationship per se. Symmetric is entirely owned by the DAO. It's entirely governed by the DAO. The DAO I look at as being the shareholders. So the DAO tells us what direction to go into. The only relationship with Cent Finance is Cent Finance is a customer of Symmetric. And because we were so Cent Finance does have some liquidity because we want to earn from it. We feel
Oh no, I think we're just having too many disruptions to continue the cast here. Darren, we're getting disruptions. We might have to reschedule another cast. For some reason, it's cutting out and we're not getting the full side of your response. Maybe both of you. Maybe it's just our internet service providers having problems.
No, it could be. It could be.
Oh goodness, so sorry. But
that's
you know,
okay. That's fine.
Yeah, what's really nice is that we were able to get a demonstration, and it looks like that we're it looks like that we're getting some cutouts. Okay, well, we're going to end the cast right there. I'm sorry for us to end this abruptly, but obviously our connection is not stable enough for us to keep a live conversation going.
Is this clear?
It's cutting out on my end.
Okay, maybe if I turn off the camera.
Yep, let's see if we can turn off the camera.
Let's see.
And it's just me on here. It will not let me turn off the camera. All right, bummer. I'm so sorry. We're going to have to go ahead and reschedule. Hopefully, Darren, we can go ahead and do another streamcast. We'll dive deeper into the streamcast in regards to the underpinnings of Darren's solution. We'll dive deeper into the community opportunities that Darren shared with us today. Please do check out the information that was provided. We have links referenced. We have github.com, Cent Finance. So if you're a developer wanting to look more, maybe you want to participate in the sandbox with Darren in the community, go to github.com, Cent Finance. Join the Discord. We have the Discord link shared in the chat window. And I just like to thank you for your time today, joining up with us. So sorry for the interruptions with the internet. We do try our best with the connectivity that's given to us. All right. Thank you so much for your time. You have a good day, good morning, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you.